So I've been getting a lot of attraction. First, good morning. Happy Monday to you. Hope you have a great work week and you stay busy. Those technicians out there need to pay their bills as well. So good luck to you guys this week. And good luck to the rest of the work week. One of my stories that I tell sometimes is the upsell at Jiffy Lube. And I was a supervisor at Jiffy Lube back in the day. I was a kid, up and coming, learning bad habits from people in the industry that basically were out to sell. And one of my stories that I did, based on what I learned from selling, basically how to be a good salesman, even if you're lying. And this happens all far too often. A young girl came into Jiffy Lube and she was driving, I think, like a 2000 model Mitsubishi Eclipse. Two-wheel drive, naturally aspirated, no turbo job, no nothing. And the vehicle was fairly well maintained. And we were kind of groomed that women don't know as much as men about automotive stuff and recommendations and what they need. And to an extent, without trying to sound like a male chauvinist pig, it's true. A lot of women are not interested in knowing what's going on with their vehicle, changing their tire, checking their oil and stuff like that. Now, I don't speak for all women, so I don't want to see in the comment section some lady attacking me, because that's not what I'm saying. But as a teenager coming up, working in these oil change places, you know, this is kind of the atmosphere you were brought up in. And a lady came in, real pretty young girl, probably mid-20s, mid to late 20s. And here I am, one of the more enthusiastic, better salesmen in the shop, running a supervisor role whenever we didn't have a manager or a full-blown supervisor there. Girl came in, let's just call it a 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse. The vehicle it needed an oil change. Well, I seen an opportunity to take advantage of a young girl, and I did. I did exactly that. And not only did I take advantage of her, I took advantage of her fiance as well. Which, it was bad, but kind of made me feel better that a male did get involved with the decision-making process. We dropped her oil, but in the middle of dropping her oil, I decided that I would upsell some stuff. So I wanted to upsell a PCV valve, and I wanted to upsell a coolant flush, and I wanted to upsell just an air filter, all kinds of, none of that stuff needed to be done. I brought this girl out to the engine bay, sucked some coolant out of her reservoir to make it look like it was low, took the PCV filter and stuck a piece of paper in the bottom of it so it didn't rattle, or the PCV valve, so it didn't rattle. I actually pulled the PCV valve off of the vehicle and shook it and said, "Ma'am, this is supposed to rattle. This is not even rattling anymore. You've got so much junk built up inside this valve that it's not even functioning. You should be able to shake it and hear some kind of movement so that ball can flutter back and forth, and it's not fluttering in this." She said, "Go ahead and replace it." And I said, "If you look over here at your coolant reservoir, it's kind of low. I recommend doing a coolant flush. We don't know what's going on with the system, and with it being low, I think the best place to start is a coolant flush." Then I sold this lady a trans flush and an air filter, and next thing you know, she's $600 out the door with all the stuff that I was recommending. She came in for an oil change. She didn't know any better. She thought we were being honest with her. Now, all these years later, I feel disgusted by what I did as a teenager, because I didn't know any better. I was trying to sell a product. I was trying to sell a service. And the more you sell, the better you look, which to an extent forces you into a better looking bracket of getting raises and becoming manager and stuff like that, so I did what I was supposed to do to get further ahead in my job. She then responded with, you know, I think I'm going to go ahead and do everything, but I want to contact my fiance first and run everything by him. Well, she got her fiance on the phone, and she's running everything by him, by the printout and all this other stuff, and she ends up saying, you know, they're recommending all this stuff. What do you think? Well, and he says, you know, a few minutes later after talking to her and stuff, we got to have the vehicle running good. You got to work and I have to work. So we need it on the road. Just go ahead and do it. The vehicle had like 60,000 miles on it. It wasn't even, it didn't even really need all that stuff. Now, we went ahead and went through and did everything that was recommended, and needless to say, the girl went about her business. Didn't change the air filter because the air filter was brand new, but charged her for it. The PCV valve, I just pulled the little plug back out of the bottom of it where the ball was, where I shoved it in, a little piece of paper, stuck it back in the vehicle and cleaned it off, topped her coolant back off, and never even gave her the coolant change. Didn't flush her transmission, and I sold her a diff service. Not a diff service, a transfer case service. This was not an all-wheel drive vehicle. Back then, you sold. And I can only imagine what's going on today with all the bad rep and stuff that Jiffy Lube is getting. And that was the kind of practice that was often practiced at the location I worked at, and probably many others as well. A lot of this stuff customers don't know about, but I feel like telling stories through my eyes and the things that I've experienced now, here we are, all these years later, I'm a master tech in the field, and would never even attempt to sell a customer something that they don't need, because now I've learned the professional aspect and the actual accountability and wanting to gain that customer as a customer to come back based on trust and based on taking care of them. Now, shortly after that, a year later, I realized being in this field was not for me as a salesman at a quick lube place, and I quickly changed my tune and started to learn the way that you should treat customers and that you should take care of customers, and it's not to take advantage of them to make a buck. It's not to take advantage of them to gain them as a customer, because you end up losing customers by doing stuff like that. My whole motto now is not only customer first, but customer service. And part of customer first comes customer service. I will do things for customers now that don't necessarily, like if a customer comes in now and I try to sell them a battery cleaning service, I know how bad some of these Ford motors are with the corrosion and stuff, the battery terminal actually splitting away from the battery and oozing some of that acid out onto the top of the battery and corroding those terminals. I will spray those terminals down and clean them now, just to try to save the customer the headache of having to come in and replace those terminals. If I have an extra set of felt grommets that go over the battery cables, I will actually put them on there, and I will try to look out for the customer, because it can be quite an extensive repair. If it's under warranty, you don't replace that whole entire, or you don't replace just the cable end, you replace the whole harness on a lot of these, because they can't be replaced. I've learned over the years that that's not the way to treat a customer. But these are the types of things that go on in a Jiffy Lube type environment. And you know, I might catch some hate from some Jiffy Lube employees for speaking out openly about this, or maybe even some thumbs down on the video. Those are the people that typically dislike the video and stuff, is because somebody's coming forward and telling the truth, or they currently work in those establishments and they're mad that somebody's telling the truth about that. There was another time a customer came in, and I was up in the office doing some paperwork, and I hear the guys out at the bay, you know, dropping the oil, clear, add oil, and all this other stuff. I had a couple guys on shift that had a little bit of a rough weekend. They were drinking pretty heavily, and they were hungover. They were all partying together, and it was just a really, really rough, long weekend of having fun for them, and then the customer having to pay for it Monday because of the poor choices they made partying until late into the night on Sunday. Now, the customer shouldn't have to deal with that, but this particular case, the customer did have to deal with that, and then we had to bite the bullet. So a guy came in for an oil change in an old Ford Escort, and the thing had really, really low miles on it. He had a bunch of like pictures and stuff all over his cluster, and he didn't actually see that the oil light came on after he made it out of the facility and there was no oil in the vehicle. He was actually headed out to New York the next day because he was taking some big high-end restaurant job where it's a big famous restaurant in New York where he would make pretty serious money furthering his career in the customer service area of waiting in restaurants and stuff like that. And it was something that he had a passion with, dealing with customers. I got just talking to the guy while he was at the facility. He just seemed very enthusiastic about being a waiter and learning the ropes and moving up into these high-end restaurants and possibly into management and stuff as well. Young guy, 22, 23 years old, nailed this gig. They hired him, and he was supposed to head out the next day. When his vehicle left that facility, it had no oil in it. It made it a mile down the road and the motor locked up. The vehicle was towed back to the facility, just like in a previous video that you see here, where I got a vehicle in from Jiffy Lube where they did the same thing. They dropped the oil and stuff, never changed the old filter, never put oil back in it, sent the vehicle on its way. The customer had stuff all over the dash, so they probably didn't see the oil light even pop on or the check engine light pop on. The motor locked up. It was towed back to the facility. They went ahead and hurried up and spun a new filter on the vehicle, signed it as if it was brand new, but when it got to the dealership and I spun the oil filter off of it, it was dry inside and the oil was never put inside this filter. And then when you pull the oil pan off and you run your finger up inside the oil pump, it was all old oil. It was all old oil with just little pieces of metal debris all over inside it. Fresh oil never made it in that motor until it got back to the facility after the motor locked up. Then they put oil in it to make it look like it was circulated through there, and it did not, because they wanted it to look like it was the dealer's or the manufacturer's poor build of that motor or poor motor design. And the oil filter never had oil inside it, even though it was signed off on, hoping that the dealer would bite the bullet on that and put a motor in the customer's vehicle. That oil never made it through the motor, and that filter never had oil in it. And there's quick diagnostics that you can do to find that out. So the same situation happened with this young man that was trying to make it out to New York to further his career in the restaurant business. The motor locked up, got towed back to the facility. The general manager got involved, and then the district manager got involved, and we had to end up footing the $4,000 bill to put a motor in that guy's vehicle within a couple days so he could get out to New York to further his career. And you know, I feel bad. I feel bad that this type of stuff happens, but I lived and I experienced the environment where this stuff happens. I know that it happens. When you get somebody's opinion based on their diagnosis of seeing the aftermath of what happens at one of these quick lube places, it's also nice to hear somebody that's worked in the field, that's been in the business, that physically seen it happen at their facility, that is truthful and admits this happens far too often. Now, I just wanted to share a story with you guys this morning to let you know I've actually experienced and worked at a facility, and I've even done wrong things at one of those facilities before learning that that's not okay. And being a professional in the field is the way to be. Now, Jiffy Lube hires a lot of young, inexperienced people, and they train them on their feet very, very quick. And I'm not saying all of them are young and inexperienced. Some of the people have been in the field for a while, and they're looking for a way to slow down, you know, a path to retirement. There are some older guys that work at these facilities that have been doing this for a long time that are very good at what they do. And they're just looking for a slow-paced work environment, something that's not going to kill them, like, you know, being on your feet all day, replacing transmissions, rebuilding motors, doing recalls and stuff at a dealership, and having to deal with the stress of being in that environment. I'm talking about all the young guys that are not appreciated, that don't get paid enough, that are forced to move, sell. That's the type of environment. That's what these guys have to deal with. And the quality of techs, especially young techs coming into the field, has dropped substantially. People that don't want to learn how to do the job correctly, but yet just want to collect a paycheck. And then on top of that, dealing with the atmosphere of selling, and volume makes for a worse common denominator as well. So that's my Jiffy Lube story. I appreciate you guys. Have a blessed day.